million max extension to stay through this rebuild in Washington. His agent, Mark Bartelstein, told me this morning, and this is for the Wizards, a remarkable commitment from Beal in a day and age where when things get difficult for an organization, we have seen players want out. And Ted Leonsis, their owner, Tommy Shepard, their general manager, sold Beal, his agent, Mark Bartelstein, on a vision of reshaping this organization, this roster around Beal. And he stays now in Washington under contract and out of free agency for at least 3 more years.
So we had a lengthy discussion about this right off the top of our show, but wanted to bring it back for those of you just waking up. This is a name, Bradley Beal, that I've heard connected to almost every good team in the NBA over the course of the last 6 months. So how would you describe, Jay Will, the ripple effect this has across the league as the season starts?
It changes the dynamic of the Eastern Conference, I think. Because when you think about next year, look at some of the teams that we know are going to contend. We have Milwaukee, you have Philadelphia, you have Boston. All those teams are potentially could implode this year depending upon what teams do. But now you have another dynamic duo. You have to ask me a year from now because it depends upon how John Wall comes back off that ruptured Achilles. But still, I like this team's chances with that fundamental infrastructure.
Yep, and again, we had been talking about would he wind up with the Lakers? Would he wind up with the Clippers? Would he wind up in Miami?
The only All-Star Greeny that is the most durable. He's played the last 2 seasons, all 82 games.
26 years old in the prime of his career. To dramatically improve a team around the league, they all saw him as the best available player. He is not available.
And there's also basically no big free agent that should become available next summer. So this is sort of league reshaping kind of news. Outstanding work here. We'll have more. Jalen will join us a little later this morning with his thoughts on that as well. Meanwhile, back to sneaky Hembo time. Graziano, I haven't forgotten about you over there. Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz square off this weekend. Dak is one of 2 quarterbacks to beat Wentz more than twice. Who do you think is the other?
I think it's a guy that used to play in his division and who just beat him on Sunday. I'm going to say Kirk Cousins.
I can't believe it. He got it right. That is unbelievable. Oh, look at Hembo is devastated. Cousins has beaten Wentz 4 times. Prescott has beaten him 3. Meanwhile, which quarterback would you rather have? That led to a very spirited argument yesterday.
If I could choose one of these quarterbacks, I would choose Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is on a better team, but Carson Wentz is the better quarterback.
Dak Prescott is on a better team?
Carson Wentz, his team won the Super Bowl without him. Watch a football game, and you see Carson Wentz play quarterback, and you see Dak Prescott play quarterback. Your eyes tell you that Carson Wentz is better at playing quarterback than Dak Prescott is.
So that was a good debate yesterday, and this is the Sunday night game this weekend. It is a critical game for so many reasons amongst the Eagles and Cowboys, who are both 3-3. Which guy have you got? You got Wentz, you got Dak?
I'll put it like this. Dak Prescott is like your good old Toyota 4Runner. He's steady. You know what you can get from him. He's reliable. Carson Wentz is like that exotic car. Now, that exotic car is going to break down, Greeny. We all know that. But one day you're going to get into a high-speed chase, and you're going to be real mad if you're sitting in a 4Runner. Okay, that's how I put it. Dak Prescott, he's not going to get hurt. He's going to be good or reliable. But Carson can just do some things that Dak Prescott can't do, which is why I would take Carson, because sooner or later you're going to need him.
It's a good analogy because Dak has spent no time in the shop since he came into the league.
I see you, Greeny.
And Carson is there. It feels like far too often. He's actually missed a total of 8 games in his NFL career. D. Wood, which side are you on?
Oh, I'm going Carson Wentz. And I think everyone's going to knock Carson because we always talk about the best abilities, availability. I get that. But I know the one thing about Carson Wentz, he can elevate his team. That's what you miss from Dak Prescott. I was at the game last week with the Cowboys and the Jets, and I'm just sitting here waiting. Okay, Dak, I want to just see you elevate with all these different pieces, missing around you. He just doesn't do it on a consistent basis. That's what you get with Carson Wentz.
What do you think of this whole debate, Graziano?
I think you're underrating Dak if you're saying 4Runner. I think there's some room between 4Runner and exotic. Right? Like he could be like a nice Mercedes sedan, right?
I feel you. I give you that.
He's a good player, but there isn't much around him right now. And you look at what he's missing: both starting tackles. And the more you talk to people around that organization, Tyron Smith, the left tackle, might be their most important player on their team because when he's not there, the offense just doesn't work. Ezekiel Elliott's not as good a player when he's not there. So I think, Dak Prescott has shown himself to be a good, high-quality NFL quarterback and has, point blank, accomplished more in his career so far than Carson Wentz has. And that's, I'm sure, the crux of his contract negotiations with the Cowboys right now. But I do think, he was sort of born into the NFL in a great situation and has taken advantage of it.
To me, when you look at elite quarterbacks, and I like Dak, I think he's a very good quarterback. Elite quarterbacks can put the team on their back. To Woody's point, when everybody else is struggling, you can carry the team. Well, you look, Dak Prescott, when Ezekiel Elliott only rushes for 75 yards or less, the Cowboys are 1-8. Dak can't really take everybody like a Rodgers can, or a Russell Wilson can, or a Brady can, and put the whole team on his back.
But we used to say that about Russell. His first couple of years in the league, right?
Oh,
He was a great team because he didn't have to.
He didn't have to.
But now he does.
Yeah,
so
and Dak
perhaps
does.
you can get to be that kind of player.
Yeah.
It is worth reminding everyone that both Wentz and Dak are still very young players. We've seen so much from them that there's a feeling they've been around a long time. They're still very young players. They're still early in their careers, and there's plenty of room for them to both get better from where they are. The only thing I'll say is I've never heard anyone say on a team that had Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, or Tom Brady that the left tackle was the most important player on the team. So if the left tackle is the most important player on the team, that might tell you everything you need to know about the quarterback. I also don't hear that very often when we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs play tonight on Thursday Night Football. That gives us all a chance to watch Patrick Mahomes on the national stage. And Mahomes has been dominant so far this year. He's thrown over 2,100 passing yards. He's thrown 14 touchdowns. And he is, in my view, and I've made this comment multiple times on the show, I think he's the most eminently watchable player right now in football and maybe in all of sports. So the way I would describe this, we use the phrase worth the price of admission. But the way I'm going to really try and put this is a guy that, or a player that if they're on TV or they're playing, you can just stop whatever you're doing, you're going to watch. I got my list of the top 5 in all of sports today.
Okay.
And I've assembled these guys around
Must watch.
To mock me. Must watch.
Okay.
Number 5, Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley has the ball in his hands, I'm stopping whatever I'm doing. I'm canceling any and all other plans. I want to see Saquon Barkley run with the football. I want to see him juke people. I want to see him make people fall down. Saquon Barkley is like what would have happened if Barry Sanders was bigger, because he runs just like that and can also run over people. Barkley's first. Ach?
Top 5, though, Greeny?
Top 5.
I see that's top 5.
Top 5. He is number
Saquon?
5.
Is this a
on my
just
list.
football list?
No, it is not a
all
just
sports.
football list. You're about to find out why. At number 4, R.I.P. my mentions. Zion. When Zion is playing, I'm watching. And again, I know he's a rookie, so I'm including his collegiate career. But there's something watchable about this guy. If Zion is playing, I want to see what's going on.
At just 4.
Yeah, just 4.
This must be a hell of a list. You got Zion at 4.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your endorsement. Look, and I don't know what he's going to be. And by the end of this season, this may sound like a silly pick. But right now, I'm actually surprised you guys think he should be higher. I would have thought I'd get made fun of for having him on the list.
No, I think he should be out. Yeah.
All right, number 3, and I don't pretend to be an expert in this, but when Simone Biles is on television, I can't believe the things I'm seeing.
That's a good pick.
The remark I have made multiple times whilst watching Simone Biles do gymnastics is, this is not a human being. No human being should be able to do the things she can do. And I've been watching the Olympics all my life. I don't pretend to be an expert on the sport. But there's just something different about her. Watch this. Just look at this. Are you kidding?
Can we promote her more?
I respect that.
She's unbelievable. I contemplated putting her at number 1. But I have to go in for my favorite sport of all.
Golf.
And I understand you're going to make fun of me.
Come on,
Golf, here it
Greeny.
comes.
But you tell me that if Tiger Woods is playing golf, you're not watching. Now, Tiger Woods, in my opinion, winning the Masters this year was the biggest and most interesting thing that happened in sports in 2019. It may be the most interesting that's happened in sports in a lot longer than that. No one moves the meter like this guy does. There's golf with Tiger and without Tiger. Without Tiger, it's a niche sport. With Tiger, it's the biggest thing happening wherever he is.
How is Tiger Woods not number 1?
Tiger Woods is not number one. Okay.
Tiger Woods is the only reason a lot of people even watch golf.
That is true. That's true. That is true.
Yeah. All the reasons that I thought you guys were going to mock me for this list, you seem to be on the other side of. Number 1 for me is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is doing things I've never seen a person do on a football field in my life, and this has been my favorite sport for 45 years. Patrick Mahomes makes throwing a football must-see TV. I've never seen the stuff he does.
I got one question for you, Greeny.
Yeah.
Where was Odell Beckham? Where was LeBron James? That's 2 questions. I'm sorry.
Let's feast our eyes for a moment on Mahomes before we start talking about where other people belong. Are you kidding?
Is that your way of deflecting the question?
No.
Okay, I'm just curious.
So again, this is purely about the price of admission. So who did you bring up?
Odell, LeBron James.
All all I hear about from Odell this year is his downfield
Cleveland?
blocking. Odell
Cleveland?
Beckham has had 2 catches in each of the last 2 games. Likes to hold the ball in one hand and fumble a lot. That's what I've noticed.
Hasn't really been a year for Odell right now.
Who else are we talking about?
LeBron James.
LeBron James is the greatest player in current sports today. Historically, maybe Tiger goes ahead of him. And maybe others do. Don't let me get myself sidetracked into that. But he's not more watchable right now than these people. That's my list. As my friend Marcus would say, put in your pipe and smoke it. I don't want to hear it. That's what I got. All right. Coming up next, Deshaun Watson was hit early and often the first 4 weeks of the season. He's made one big change, and suddenly his team looks totally different. We'll explain how next.